Let's go live to Los Angeles to speak to Kinsey Schofield, Royal Commentator and host of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered. Kinsey, thank you so much for joining us on the show. First of all, we just heard there from President Trump. He thinks it's bad for the royal family. Could Andrew's arrest bring down the House of Windsor?
I mean, it certainly feels that way. It feels very shaky right now. But I think if the king continues to condemn that behavior, if we continue to hear and see from Prince William, and they distance themselves from Prince Andrew, you know, the monarchy does have a future. And I think that future is, quite frankly, Prince William. I think that people are still excited and looking forward to his reign. But to be fair to King Charles, you know, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was not a working royal under his reign, and he certainly did not represent Britain under a King Charles reign. This was an inherited problem that came from Queen Elizabeth II.
And most of the UK newspaper front pages have the photo of Andrew seen hiding in the back of the car after leaving the police station. Could this image really define him now?
It could. And you know why? We've heard so much from him. And unfortunately, he did that BBC interview. And when it comes to visuals with Andrew, it's the tangible evidence we need. We're hearing him contradict himself. So visuals have become so important to us. Whether it's the Virginia Giuffre photo, he denied that that was a real image in that BBC interview. Well, now, thanks to the DOJ dump, we learned from Ghislaine Maxwell, it is a real image. There's the picture of him walking through Central Park with Epstein after he claims he no longer had a relationship with him. And this is one of those humbling photos where you see that he's realizing what a mess he's gotten himself into.
And King Charles swiftly released a statement yesterday following Andrew's arrest. And Kinsey, as we know and many of the viewers know, the King has been undergoing cancer treatment. The start to his reign he'd last wanted for so long hasn't really gone as planned. But how was Andrew's arrests and allegations against Andrew, you mentioned Virginia Giuffre there, impacting their relationship? Because we can't forget they are brothers.
You're absolutely right. But this is a defense I use when I'm trying to defend the king and Prince William. When people say to me they had to know what was going on, they had to know that there were girls being brought to Buckingham Palace. These men were never close, King Charles and Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew. You know, they were distant in age. They did not have a lot in common. And Andrew had an entitlement and a chip on his shoulder that the king could not relate to. So I think the king is very inconvenienced by it. I would say I don't believe that the king knew a lot about what was going on in Andrew's personal and private life because they were not very close. And Andrew's put him in a very difficult position.
And there have been lots of reports that Andrew's daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, are in a state after Andrew's arrest. Their mother, Sarah Ferguson, also, of course, had links to Jeffrey Epstein. This must be an extremely difficult time for the both of them.
I think you're much more compassionate and empathetic than potentially I am, because as I'm going through those DOJ documents, I'm seeing that Beatrice and Eugenie voluntarily jumped on an airplane to visit Jeffrey Epstein after he got out of jail for being a convicted sex offender. So I have less sympathy for them. They were, 18 and 20, I believe, at the time when they took that trip. I know that they've benefited a lot from some of their mother and father's financial relationships. And I think maybe we should ask some serious questions about their behavior as, as members representing the British royal family as well.
And a poll that was actually done in the UK shows strong support for Andrew to be removed from the line of succession. Kinsey, should he be? Is this the final step that needs to be taken?
I think optics, yes. No one wants to see him. You don't even think that he deserves to be there. I don't think he ever would be there, obviously, but I think optics-wise, it would be a good look to strip him, and even Prince Harry of that option. I think that it would give people much more comfort and peace and confidence in the monarchy.
And I also think, Kinsey, I've just been looking at all of this, and obviously allegations when it comes to Virginia Giuffre and Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor date back years and years. We first heard her talking about him a long time ago. And now we get to the stage where we see Andrew arrested, but he hasn't been arrested for allegations that Virginia Giuffre put to him. He's been arrested for misconduct in public office. How do you think that looks to the public?
Well, it should look like the easiest route for the government to get him, if I'm being honest, because we do have those emails in the DOJ dump that are just right there, blatant, evidence-wise. It's a no-brainer that a prosecutor could go in and show that to a judge or jury, and somebody would be more likely to agree with them. Unfortunately, Virginia took her own life. She's no longer here to defend herself, and we could not cross-examine her biography, her autobiography that she recently wrote. So I think that this is just the easiest route for the government to pursue him, but there are 9 other agencies that are looking at Andrew right now. So he could be, quite honestly, arrested for something similar in the future.
And Kinsey, if you had a crystal ball, what does the future of the royal family look like going from this point?
I think they're going to have to push Prince William and Catherine out more often than William and Catherine would likely want to be out. We know that they enjoy being at home with their children, but they truly are such a positive reflection on the British royal family, and they represent hope. They represent courage, and Catherine surviving cancer, how stoic she's been throughout that process. I think we need to see more of the younger royals.
Kinsey Schofield, so good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.